Okay, welcome back to Kerbal Space Program. Where we left off, we were going to do our last landing onto the moon. It'll be our Magnus 6 mission. Yeah, look at all that ComNet stuff. And we're going to be going to tag the crashed UFO, looking at our open contracts. Yep, looks all good. And I'm going to pick up the contract for Mina 1 while I'm here. Yeah, that's... sorry. That'll be a good little career boost when we do that after this. Alright, so Magnus 6 is going to be identical to Magnus 5. As this design worked pretty well for us before. And how are we doing on crew? Alright, all of our crew are at least at 1 star. We'll go with Helvin and Elney. No, I think we did this pair before. There we go. We got science. Yeah. I'm going to remove these just for good measure, just to have the little extra empty space. We don't really need parachutes on a mission like this. Famous last words, right? I realize I'm tempting fate pretty bad saying that. Alright, so we're going to have to wait for another go-around. Okay. Kraken Insurance. Up we go. And we're gonna have to do another, like, really funky orbital insertion around the moon to make sure that we can get into a heavily inclined orbit. No, we've already messed up our ascent profile a little bit. That's fine, though. This mission has proven to have sufficient delta V. Not tons of extra, but sufficient. Min-miss will be much easier. Oh, I don't know if you can hear it. I got a lot of birds outside my window. So, if you get weird chirping in the background, sorry about that. It's just birds doing bird stuff. Alright, almost time to get rid of these solid boosters. Good. I'm always a little nervous during that. Alright, let's check on my trajectory. Alright, good. We're getting inclined a little bit. And this is a part where I don't remember why it happened. But I had some weird tumbling last time at this stage of the launch. But it seems to be going okay here. Again, we're not going too crazy with inclining our ascent, inclining our trajectory. There we go. Got it right this time. All right. Alright, so our goal, of course, is to intercept the moon at a weird inclined angle. And I'm off again. Oh, it's my own fault. I should have burned a little bit deeper. Alright, that should be workable. It's not ideal, but it's inclined enough. I think I can make that work. Yeah, I'm generally pretty happy with how this lander design and everything for the later Magnus missions worked out. Alright, let's try this again. Good. I gotta rotate back around, do a little bit of a retro burn. Also good. Warp to periaps. Oh, come on. That's right, I have some RCS on this. Almost forgot that I did that. That was a good design choice. Alright. Activate navigation. Oh, look at that. That is almost a polar orbit. Alright, so again, we're going to wait for that to kind of rotate around and be on the light side, so we're going to be waiting a little while. Sorry about that. Or not really be on the light side, but at least more... Yeah, that'll be good enough. More illuminated than before. Now, this one actually can be a little weird. I seem to remember all of the whole area around the landing spot is like all really weird and inclined and difficult. So we'll see what we get. We're going to squeeze every last ounce of Delta V out of this trans stage there. Alright, and let me see if I can remember... Is it... Yeah. Alright, come on. Come on, come on. There we go. Orient properly. Last of our fuel. A little 2-second putt. Oh. That's going to be a little close. So instead of making it a crazy suicide burn, we'll do this. Yeah, we're going to have a lot of Delta V to burn off. Yeah, that's a lot of delta V. Look at that. We are still technically in orbit, just barely. Look at this low orbit. That's crazy. You can like reach out and scoop up some dirt. There we go. Alright, now we just have to bleed off the rest of this speed and energy before we smack into these hills over there. And I won't lie, it's looking a little close. Just fixing our trajectory there. Yeah, I think it's either over here or over here. It's right near this crater, I believe. Oh no, we're going to be cutting it real close. Oh, we ran out of descent stage. Uh-oh. Oh, wait a minute. I think that's it right there. Yep, that is. All right. That ended up being a relatively precision landing. I'm not super happy with how much fuel this is consuming. So our trip back to Kerbal might be really, really precise. And I'm not gonna spend the Delta V to get that landing over there as close as I might. I would rather just hoof it. There we go. Nice, gentle descent. Excellent. Look at that. Cool. All right, where are we? We are on the poles again. So, all of our science is going to be diminishing returns, and there's almost no point in leaving our surface experiments because we've already got that from the other landing on the poles. But, I mean, it's fine. Oops, it's not what I was trying to do. Oh, that's right, we've already got the scan. However, what we got to do, I think it was over this way. Yep. And taking a quick look around. There might be some moonstone or something. Maybe one of these things. We'll have a quick look. We'll do a little bit of a survey while we're here. And I could, of course, I could just walk, but, you know, it'd take quite a while. This is about, what, like maybe a kilometer away from our lander. I'd rather just jetpack it. Now, you gonna give me credit for finding this? I mean, literally, I can, like, walk up and touch it. Am I gonna get credit? There it is. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the flag, like, right over here. There, okay. And you know, I thought I ditched these parachutes. There's no way to throw those away. Oh well. Alright, so I think... I hope our lander was in this general direction, off towards the sun. That would not be a good thing to get stranded out here on the moon. There it is. Man, the desolation is beautiful. I really do like it. And the visual mods that I'm running, I think, improve the quality quite a bit. Alright, so this is Silford, who's touched down. And I think this was our scientist. So we'll let our pilot get out and get credit for hitting the moon twice. And also grab a surface sample for some diminishing returns science. $30, that's still not bad. Whoop! Uh-oh. There we go. Yeah, it's kind of disappointing that that this is on the poles biome, because I'm not gonna really get anything from deploying those surface experiments, but whatever. Alright, so we'll do this. This is going to be a little bit of a weird one. We might not have a lot of delta V to do to like lower our periapsis before we go in for a re-entry, so this one might actually be a pretty steep re-entry profile. And you can see I'm burning all of the rest of my monopropellant just for a little extra thrust here. Every last little bit we can get, because delta V is our friend. Alright, yeah, this is going to be a weird return. And I know there are more optimal ways to do this. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. take too long sometimes to set up the more optimal approach. And what do we go? Okay, yeah, we're actually looking okay for Delta V. All right, I was worried about nothing. Whoop. So we'll have plenty of Delta V to go down and lower our orbit. Nice and easy. All right, so now we'll zip over here and get ourselves down for our re-entry burn. Good. And we'll ditch our little landing module here in a moment. And Kraken Insurance. A little bit of... Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Oh! Oh! That could have been bad. All right, let me inspect for damage. Oh, that could have been really bad. If you blinked and you missed that, we collided with our landing stage there. Yeah, that could have been really bad. But alas, we pulled it off. All right, we're coming in over the highlands. And where are we? Middle of nowhere. There we go. Yeah, we're not going to get a whole lot of science from this. Oh, yeah, that's why time warping can be a little risky sometimes. We're not going to get a whole lot of science from this mission. Oh, nice. All right, good. I was curious if it was going to let me do that. Because I don't know if I actually got science from the Highlands. I didn't, so that'll be a little extra boost. Not much, but something. We are done with the moon. That is fun to say. We are done with the moon. So now it is time to think about moving on to Minmus. But I am gonna cheat out and complete that Arch exploration contract. Because if I don't get, I really don't want to bother with this. They're a real pain to get to, and it's not too exciting. And if I don't, that contract will just never go away. So I'm just going to cheat to get rid of it. All right. Now, how are we doing over here on science? This is going to be important. However, I'm going to save up. And I am going to use the money from having cheated that out to fund upgrading my R&D center. So now we're going to do a probe to Minmus. Actually, no, you know what? We'll do a flyby. Because we've got that contract. We've got that contract to return to Kerbal from a flyby. So we're going to use our Zenithar as the basis for a flyby mission. We're just going to need a little bit more Delta V than it's got. Okay, those are enormous. But, yeah, we'll do it. That's fine. It's going to be a little wobbly. The balance is going to be a little weird. But, that's fine. And we're going to call this Zenithar 2 Minmus Flyby. And we also... we're going to have to put some Separatrons on here. To pull these boosters away. And we'll pack those in a little bit. There. So that should spin those off relatively well. And this ought to give us enough Delta V to to do a Minmus flyby. Now, of course, Minmus is another one that's it's got an inclined orbit, so getting there can be a little weird sometimes. How are we doing on spacesuits? All right, yeah, we're still fine. And do we need to... you know what? Why didn't I think of that a moment ago? We are going to load up on some science. All right, before anything else, let me check all of our staging. All right, so we've still got... Okay, good. All right, so in here, we're just going to load up a whole bunch of science experiments. Don't need that one. Because we have the science capsule up on top. That can collect all of this and bring it back with us. So let me check custom 1, collect all, good, and down here custom 2, toggle bay doors. All right. Good. I'm glad I remembered that, because that'll be a pretty important little boost to our science. Okay, let's go to Minmus. Whoops. Wrong target. All right, so Minmus is in a bad spot for a launch. I'm going to wait until Minmus is down here so that I don't have to incline our launch anywhere near as much. And that'll make sense in a moment. All right, yeah, I let it go a little bit too far. All right. There we go. All right, so let me get around about another day. So Minmus is at the top of its orbit. We're doing good there. Oh, we got a whole bunch of Kraken insurance. Up we go. And yeah, those surface experiments we left on the moon are going to slowly be paying dividends, returning extra science to us over time. Yeah, we're rotating a little, but that's okay. Doesn't matter. If anything, it'll help our boosters maybe clear without smacking our exhaust nozzles there on the main engine. Come on. All right, now we'll punch it. Just watching our fuel. Oh, yeah, that worked good. All right. Now we'll fix this. Just about past the Kármán line. Time to start fixing our trajectory here. And with luck, this will get us out to Minmus for a flyby. I don't know if it actually will. I'm hopeful though. Really, really hopeful. Speaking of which... nothing. Well... we'll get some science from space around Kerbal anyway. Alright, now I'm starting to worry that we might not have the Delta V to get there with our science experiments. Maybe? I don't know. I mean, we're only going on a flyby, so we don't need a whole lot. I mean, the upper stage absolutely has more than enough. Oh no, we gotta... oh... oh, what bad timing. What bad timing. Alright, maybe I can try and use this to my advantage. Yeah, it's not going to work. Yeah, so this has become a moon flyby. I guess we'll collect some science from space around the moon while we're here. Just because there's nothing else to do. That sucks. But at the very least, we'll get some diminishing returns on some of this. And the magnetometer scan was good. And you know what? I don't know if we've actually done an EVA in space high above the moon. We have, okay. Yeah, that's frustrating. We're going to have to do that launch again in another month. Because the moon was in the way. And that absolutely happens. However, if nothing else, you know what? This'll be a test of using our heat shield from a really high altitude orbit, coming in at insane speeds from a Minmus landing. That's what we meant to do all along. It's a heat shield test. That's what we meant to do. This mission was never intended to actually go to Minmus. It was just a heat shield test in preparation for future missions. Okay. And, you know, I've probably got enough Delta V in this upper stage to have fixed that and gotten this to Minmus, but I really want to bring the science instruments there. Well, at least our crew got to go for a little ride. All right, we're going to do some Kraken insurance. All right, moment of truth. Let's watch that ablator and see what happens. I mean, it should be fine, but... coming in a little crispy? Yeah, look at that, look at that. All right. More than enough ablator. Yeah, using, you know, I know I've mentioned it a few times, but using 30,000 meters as the apoapsis, or as well, as the apsis, depending on how you want to define a peri or an apo for an atmospheric insertion burn. I think that tends to work out extremely well. You know, that provides a really good margin of safety for a lot of different types of descent trajectories and so on. And I mean, as you've seen, you know, in these videos, it's been working really well for me. Oh, hey, there's one of those trees that that we'd be able to scan if we had the arm. I don't think we can do anything with it with just our Kerbal. But just in case, let's go have a look. One of those weird, funny bow trees or whatever. Yeah, nothing there. Oh well. We can at least take off our helmet. Don't need that. Alright, so we did a high altitude flight, which of course was the whole point of our Zenithar mission here. And verified our heat shield design is going to work just fine. That was the point. It's what we meant to do. So that was legit. Oh, those birds outside are they're having a good time. I've got a wall-mounted air conditioner in the next room. And the birds love to make a little nest up on top of it at the beginning of the summertime before I turn it on, and the vibrations kind of scare them away. All right. So we can actually go with some real heavy stuff up there, but I'm not gonna. I'm going for the gravioli detector as a top priority. And I think I'm actually going to take a minute to do something I was talking about before. I'm going to do another little science rover driving around KSC, grabbing science from all those biomes. Oh, already got one of those. Do not have one of these. Do not have this. Okay. Are we missing any science? Not that we can do here. All right. And I'm probably gonna... Oh, we actually have, like, real rover wheels and stuff now. That's right. Which of these are larger? Those are really low. These are also really low, but they're a little larger. You know what we're gonna do? We're gonna redesign just a little bit. Just a little bit. Yeah, we'll just bring that a little bit lower. Okay, those are going to be really low. Let's check these out. All right, we can move those down and it'll be a little bit better. So I'm going to do that. Okay. That should be a little bit better and steerable than the aircraft landing wheels. So we're going to give this a quick little drive on the runway. Good. All right, so let's start doing some of this. Okay. I am probably going to fast forward through this section just because it's going to take a little while and it's not going to be especially exciting. All right, so we had a little intermission there to collect some science, and as you can see, it paid off. So I'm going to use that opportunity to go in and take a quick look. If there's any of these that were thinking about being important, and some of them definitely are. But I think for right now, yeah, building up to RTGs is very important. But at the same time, that narrowband scanner becomes an extremely important tool later on. Yeah, really all of this stuff is pretty important. But for now, I'm just going to do this because I have plans to send up some relay satellites in the near future. But now, let's let's try that Zenithar mission, but this time without the moon in the way. And get our crew. All right. We'll give Jeb and Bill a second try. And yeah, so that little science rover thing I did, going around KSP, picking up all that stuff from the different biomes, that's a good way, sort of like mid-career like this, to get a whole bunch of extra science for free, for doing literally nothing. All right, and Minmus, again, is in a bad spot. And we're going to have... Okay. Yeah, it's the problem, is like the moon... is going to be in the way here. All right. That might be better-ish. We'll see. Kraken Insurance. It's very similar to the dilemma escaping Duna. Because, you know, Ike, the moon of Duna, exerts a really disproportional amount of gravitational influence. Its sphere of influence, you know, relative to like low Duna orbit and everything, is pretty significant. So it's easy to, you know, find yourself running into problems getting back from Duna if you're not paying careful attention to what Ike is up to. As we just had that problem. And, you know, the position of the moon may still cause us issues. We'll find out. I'm happy with how that ended up. And yeah, this is the one with the extra science. And yeah, you know, I could have waited a bit longer for Minmus to get closer down to here, but I like to go up and hang and kind of wait for it. Whoa. We've got a slight imbalance. That's what Kraken Insurance is for. Oh, actually, you know what? We might have just been too low in the atmosphere. Minor detail. You know what we can even do? That's not a bad idea. I'm going to circularize here. And we're going to wait for Minmus to get into slightly more advantageous position. A little bit further in its orbit. We'll wait in low Kerbal orbit. Just doing a little time warp. No big deal. It's getting a little dizzy. Alright, and this way we've got a little bit more freedom with what the moon is doing. And we're going to burn right around the ascending node. And I'm hoping we're going to get out in front of the moon. Because I really don't want to have to do another go-around. That's a pain in the butt. Kraken Insurance. Now, this is supposed to be just a flyby. I'm not sure what'll happen to some of the contract stuff if we go into orbit around Minmus. Okay, we got to be careful here. Oh, RCS. Yeah. Nice. That's how we do it. RCS for the win. It's one of the reasons I always like to try and take RCS on missions like this, even if it's not strictly needed. Like, you know, I'm not docking with anything on this, right? But by having the RCS on my base design for the Zenithar, it allows me to use it to make fine-grained adjustments like that. Fine-grained adjustments to our trajectory like that, which makes it a lot easier to do like minor corrections for intercepts. Okay. Let's quickly get all this done. Oh, and I forgot to put the gravioli detector. Oh well, that'll give me something to do in the next one. And Jeb, you are going to go on a spacewalk. Because not only is that some good science, that is some good experience going on a spacewalk above a new celestial body. Okay, so now periapsis is a little lower than I'd like. You know, I'm going to wait till Minmus is a little further away, just so I'm... Got everything we need out of there. All right. So now this is going to be a high-speed re-entry, almost coming in from interplanetary speeds here. Kraken Insurance. This is going to be a little hairy. We'll use as much of our fuel as we can before we dip down into the atmosphere. See what we did. Nice. Those are our surface experiments on the moon, paying some dividends. Okay, we're not going to get credit for Mina 1. That needs to be a satellite. That's fine. So doing this descent burn is reducing our trajectory. Uh-oh. Oh, I forgot to kill the throttle. Uh-oh. That'll be fine. That'll run out of fuel in a minute. It lowered our trajectory a little bit more than I normally like, but We should be fine. Especially now that we have an extra heat shield. There we go. Yeah, get out of the way. All right. Almost landed in familiar territory. And Kraken Insurance. All right. And that should be a healthy chunk of science right there. Healthy chunk of science. Nice. I don't want to bother with that. Space around Minmus, space around Kerbal. I'll grab those. Surface of Minmus, I'm going to grab it, even though we're not going to do it just yet. Extract ore, not going to bother with that yet. Probe to another planet, that'll be coming soon. Let me just look at what we can do for some of these. Alright, I'll do that later. For right now, the next thing I want to do, I want to put a probe in orbit around Minmus for a communications relay. So now, we're going to get a little bit beefier, because we don't quite have... Oh, that's not the one I wanted. Because we don't have a large diameter probe core, but I do want to put a large diameter communications dish. So, and just to see, is that... Yeah, it's direct and relay. Whoops. There we are. Yeah, that's going to get too dumb looking. So instead, we're just going to get our... Get our little injection stage here. Alright, so from here... Whoops. Okay. Well, yeah, 2 of those will be fine. Well... You put these a little further up so that we can do one of these down here. And we'll put this... Okay. I like that. And just so that we can occasionally return random science when we need... Alright, not bad. So now, oh, you know what, the other thing I want to do, we need some more electric power on this, to be sure. That should do it. Well, you know what, let's be safe. When it comes to electric power in KSP, I would rather have too much than too little. And we'll strut that. Alright, will that fit inside of a 1875 fairing? It will. Alright, so what I'm going to do... We're going to start setting this booster up to get reused. All right, we'll call that the Croesus. And with Mina, we'll use the Croesus as a basis and see how it goes. Yeah, it's going to be slightly too wide. That's okay. I always do four-sided fairings. Now, I'm going to need a little bit more delta V. So... we're going to do a couple of asparagus liquid fuel boosters on the side here. Why is it not letting me move these? Gonna be like that. There. Good. Good. Okay. And just for just to be sure. Now, if we can get this to min-miss, that upper stage really should have enough delta V to, we're actually in a good position. Should have enough delta V to slow us down and put us in orbit. Kraken Insurance. And I didn't go with those larger solid rocket boosters on the side. You know, I'm thinking back, it might have actually been cheaper to do that. Because that probe core and everything I mounted up top is lighter than the science payload and the Zenithar capsule and everything that I was launching before. So I really shouldn't need that much extra power. Famous last words. Oh yeah, that was good. That's what we like to see. So just gonna keep going up for a minute. And yeah, you know, a booster like this, with just a small amount of extra thrust, with you know, some strap-on boosters on the side there, can really get you an enormous amount of extra delta V. Because when you can stage into these upper stages, you know, like this kick stage here, it's kind of turning into a trans stage. When you can stage into those at higher altitude, you can get some really good results. You know, some of these engines are much more efficient in a vacuum than they are if you have to burn them in the atmosphere. Yeah, this is actually going to be... That was a good launch. I'm happy with how that worked out. All right, now we are officially in space. I'll transmit that, and the main purpose of that was just watching our electric charge to see what the drain is. That does drain quite a bit, electric charge. But it also got us a contract for some quick money. And this should easily get us out to min-miss. And even with enough delta V to, like, correct our trajectory here, Nice. And so what I'm going to be going for, F5 for Kraken Insurance, I'm going to be going to put this into like a polar orbit around Minmus. Or at the very least, a highly inclined orbit. And you're going to see when we get there that the reduced gravity of Minmus makes it a lot easier to do like orbital plane shifts and stuff like that. Come on. And I don't want to get into a low orbit. So I am going to burn at periapsis. This is good. This is very good. Very, very good. And don't worry, we're not crazy. We're totally fine. Because if you look at our orbital velocity, it takes very little delta V to do orbital adjustments on Minmus. Very little. This will be completely safe, completely stable. Look at that. Awesome. So I don't think we can get any extra magnetometer science, but we'll try anyway, just for good measure. Yeah, nothing. But we will do our temperature probe, because I think we had a contract to get science from space around Minmus. And what else we're going to do is we're going to try and orient ourselves kind of like this. So that our solar panels should be able to get some power pretty much constantly. So, alright, and it looks like we completed a bunch of stuff. Good. Awesome. So, not bad. So we finished up on the moon. We did a flyby of Minmus, and we got a relay probe in orbit of Minmus. That wasn't bad progress at all. So I'm going to call this an episode. Make sure to stay tuned for the next one when we actually start to explore Minmus. As always, thanks for watching.